Welcome to the Choice, Change and Action podcast, where you get to choose, change and take action to create a different today and a different future. These are my stories of choice, change and action, along with the phenomenal guests I have on here. From a really young age, I've always desired to create a change in the world. The planet has been a constant inspiration to me, and Access Consciousness has shown me the tools to know that anything is possible. And I keep choosing. What are you going to choose? Hi everybody, welcome to the Choice, Change and Action podcast. You are with me, your host, Simone Millises, and I am in Italy, and I am back at my wonderful, amazing castle, Castello di Casa Borgoni, staying in Casa, lots of casas, what is the word? Casa Camellia. Thank you. Casa Camellia. It's like my home away from home. So I came here yesterday and I was just like, oh, it's so nice to be here. Just a couple of days before I head off to London. And it's so beautiful here in Italy right now. One of the things I've learned is che bella giorni. So it's a beautiful
What a
day.
beautiful day. Oh, okay.
Exacto. Yeah. So there you go. And today with me, I have a fellow certified facilitator and Joy business facilitator as well. Aishkul Civil. Did I say it
Seville,
correct?
yes. Like Seville,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. So you're originally from Turkey, but now you're living in Florida, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Maybe we can talk about that as well. But I was having a conversation with Aishkul, and it was in regards to creating from, like, she called it beautiful chaos. And I was like, oof, beautiful chaos. And it's like, one of the things that you mentioned was that you thought you could not function in business. And I see that show up all the time. Like the amount of people who have said to me, oh, I can't go to a Joy business class because I don't have the prerequisites. And I'm like, what prerequisites? Because the business and different class, there is none. And they go, oh, I don't have a joy in business. And I was like, you don't have to have a joy in business in order to come to class. But what I will probably say is that you are going to find out that you actually do have a joy in business. It's just your definition of business has maybe been incorrect and been whole lot of projections and expectations at you from the people around you. So what if you could start to discover what joy of business is for you? Now, I think that's where you need to come in here, because you said to me that you had this, like, beautiful sort of like trail of how you got to be a Joy business facilitator. So where did it start for you in that beautiful chaos?
That beautiful chaos. I think it was with me all the time, all my life, but I was not daring to admit because it was so freaking different from
Yeah.
everywhere I have worked, everywhere I have been. Everyone was also like questioning how much enthusiasm can you have for something you're gonna do? Just like chill out, chill out. But every and I because I thought I didn't have a business mind, I chose to work with people, not have a business of my own. And in that sense, I was thinking, because I can't do it alone, I don't have the mindset for it, I'm not that adventurous, but I enjoyed still everything that I did. I would find elements that would give me some pleasure, some enthusiasm, excitement, but where I was stopping myself was actually doing what would give me joy. I can create joy anywhere I go. I love this Mary Poppins saying, in every job that must be done, there is an element of fun, she says to the children. That is, she's nannying into. And
Yeah.
that is my motto since I've known myself. If you have to do something, you can still have fun in there. You can instill chaos with your fun, even if that is a 9 to 5 job, or even if that seems to be something structured. You can still instill a little bit of chaos there and make it work for you if you don't know where to go next yet. That was where I was functioning from. And as I started access and using the tools, and joy of business is my I can say I think is my favorite class, Joy of Business, Business Done Different. Because I remember last year in April, I think, after Business Done class with you, I was walking on the streets and I was thinking, I'm so happy. I'm so tapped into the possibilities.
Mm.
Even if I die now, I'm so content. It was like, I have done everything that I know was possible, but there's still more. It was such a content place, but even there, there's still more. I know I'm going a little bit
I
like
No, no, no. I like the way you're saying that because it's true. It's like being for me. It's also like this sense of relaxation because you have the relaxation with what you're creating and what you're choosing, and yet, well, this is the way I function. Is then I also have that such a demand in my world to create what it is that I know is possible and sort of like this request out there, this ask. And I mean, even last night I was looking at the schedule for the next year, and there's a lot on, and there's
Mhm.
different choices. And man, do you have a choice? Like you have a choice, you have a choice, you have a choice. And I wrote in this thread that I'm in with a whole bunch of I guess, the key people who organize a lot of the events for us. I was asking a couple of questions, and I said, well, I'm looking at what would be fun for me and what would create greater. And
Mm.
Sylvia Puentes, who we both know and work with, she went, oh, Simone, thank you so much for asking that question. That's just like, giving me that relaxation. Because it's true. It's like we all just like run at a million miles an hour, but it's because we actually desire to. Like I
Yes.
met with someone today and I went, I know it sounds like I've just been, having coffee just injected into my veins, but I haven't. I was just like, I was so excited and enthused about everything. And yet, what I have discovered, and I love the way you say it, is that beautiful chaos is to not allow the world to tell me what I should be doing, allow myself to choose what I know
Yeah.
is fun for me and joyful and will create a greater possibility that totally matches the energy of what it is I'd like to, have and be in the world.
Yeah.
So it's a different way of being.
And the way you call it, joy of business, I always had a joy for working, but it was not, I didn't consider it as my business. But I knew there was so much joy, and I have been accused of having too much fun working also all my life. Like you're neglecting your friends, you're neglecting your family, you love working so much, you're a workaholic. But that was me trying, creating my universe in my own terms and with
Yeah.
the tools of access consciousness. Like you said, we have schedules, but when I look at a schedule, let's say I know what I'm going to do today. I start my day with you, I will have a foundation, and then who knows what. But if I have, let's say, a weekly schedule and I'm looking at it, or a yearly schedule, and that's all I'm seeing, is almost like death. Even if you see things that you are going to do with enthusiasm and joy, if you are fixated on your schedule, this is what I need to do. This the
Mm,
morning schedule is this, afternoon schedule is this, and if there is no fun and there is no element of chaos in it, then
mm,
you are still putting everything, even if it is something you love, you're putting it into a structure and make it a fixed point of view and a conclusion that your day will be like this, your week will be like this. Whereas everything can be interchangeable, everything can, yeah, there are certain things you need to be, doing in a day or a week, but everything else yeah, can be so changeable with just a question. And if you have a million things to do, I love this question in Joy of Business, and also we have it in Access, like, what requires my attention today?
yeah.
And
I love
that
that
will
too.
pop
Yeah.
up. And yeah, that I use a lot. And the beauty of the chaos, I wanted to go in there again. We talk about in Access and the business classes is four sources of creation: question, choice, possibility, and contribution. I think that is the beautiful chaos in itself, versus the structure,
Yeah.
rules, and regulations that you think you have to follow. When you
So
ask a question, yeah, I'm
I
sorry.
was going to say, tell me, when you first came along, because it sounds like you weren't that, you didn't sort of find your business and sort of run towards it. You had
Yeah,
had
I
a bit of
didn't.
hesitancy. Yeah.
I didn't because actually it was the first I think after Being You book, or maybe even before, the first book that I read over and over and over, Joy of Business book. And I always had that, but I didn't find, what do you call, I was so much in judgment of myself in doing business. It always stopped me from exploring for more and taking that one step further. But the things that I created, moving from here, from Turkey to here, and the things that I created with questions, with using the tools of Business Done Different and
Yeah.
all the other access tools, and creating something from scratch. And don't get me wrong, I had such a beautiful life in Turkey. But if I were complacent, it was comfortable. I was making a lot of money for Turkey standards. I had a beautiful home. Everything was going well. It was just that the energy stopped, and I needed something, another challenge to
Mm.
create something different. And when I started using the tools, the question, choice, possibility, contribution, things started appearing as if by magic, total chaos. I didn't even know where to live. I know I was going to live in United States, but everything happened with question: is this going to be a contribution? Will this help exponentialize my life the way that I really desire? And if I had the yes and the lightness, I chose that, and I chose everything, that I added businesses to my business, and I chose that with the questions as well. I invested in art. It made double the money, and I invested in antique jewelry. I started selling it. I started writing and making money out of writing, not just a singular, being a certified facilitator and doing sessions and classes. I know I love that, but I still need more to get my juices flowing.
So you came out of judgment of being in business. I love that. So I want to just run something here for anyone listening, because that is a really common theme that I see show up, is that people will talk about business, but there are so many presumptive realities that people
Yeah.
have about business and about being in business and about themselves in business. So I'm going to run a couple of clearings here. And this, if you want to know more about it, you can go to theclearingstatement.com. Which has myself and Dr. Dane here describing this. But if you've been listening to my podcast, you would have heard it. So what I want you to have a look at now is, if you get the energy, right? When I say, how many presumptive realities do you have of business? And how many presumptive realities do you have of you being in business, and everything that is, and everything you are avoiding and defending by not choosing business and the joy of it, as Aishakul keeps mentioning. Will you please destroy and uncreate it? Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys, provids, and beyonds. Because the way this works is, we have these presumptive realities of business, and then we go into this necessity of reacting to everything. So instead of choosing, and like I said, running forward to it and choosing, you end up going, oh, well, that's not going to work, or that hasn't worked for anyone else, or I doubt that. Or, as you mentioned at the beginning, or your friends and family saying, you're a workaholic, you don't have time for us, blah, blah, blah. It's like, for me, that has showed up so much in my life. Like, people are like, it's a Sunday, why are you working? It's a this, why, and I'm like, you know what, this is my life. I get to choose it, and I get to choose how this works for me, not for anybody else. And what I've discovered is, when I choose from that beautiful chaos, as you're mentioning, it makes other people uncomfortable. And I'm not out here to make people uncomfortable, but I'm also not out here to choose my life as something less than to make others comfortable. And when you choose that joy and that fun and that laughter and the success, it's like, it will make other people uncomfortable. So everywhere that you have been diminishing you in order to save other people who aren't even asking for it, will you destroy and uncreate it? Right, wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys, provids, and beyonds. Okay, because this level of enthusiasm that you have is what I would like everybody to choose, if they desire to choose it. But know that it's not wrong. This is your life. your business, your career, your money, your wealth, your projects, your, a billion revenue streams. Like, I love the fact that you've just mentioned how many revenue streams you have. And it's also just the beginning, because most people go to, don't you already have a full-time job? You need
Mhm.
to blah, blah, blah. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, I don't need to do anything. It's like what I can do is choose what works for me from that beautiful chaos. Love this. Okay, so then where
Exactly.
to next with you, Aishagul?
What's that?
Where to next with you? Like, coming into business, like when you actually went, okay, I'm going to choose this. Like,
Yeah, when I really actually I chose it last year, but it was after anyway. The class was over. Something didn't match up. Maybe I was still stopping myself. When I chose it, it felt like my world exploded because there it was a fixed point of view. Even if you have changed it, when you take an action,
yeah.
that really settles, that fixed point of view dissipates. When that happened, it's what happens with the question also. When you ask a question and get out of a judgment or something, it's like a multiverse of universes opening up. That's what I experienced energetically. And I'm still in question. It's still the beginning. I know it's still more. It's just like, what do I want to be when I grow up? I'm still in that energy, still
I love
more
that. Yeah.
to add up. And now I started talking to people, inspiring people on the journey that I talk about myself and business. And I am so happy that I could be a contribution in that sense as well through the things that I pock and potted, gotten rid of my presumptions and reactive realities and everything that was stopping me. I can speak from the energy.
So what are some of the questions or the tools that you've used
Mhm.
that has created that for you?
That one, a lot of questions I learned from you, I use constantly, like who am I today and what grand and glorious adventures will I have? How many revenue streams? That was the question I was walking and talking when I first got actually it was an energetic journey that I found jewelry. I had nothing in mind or no plans that jewelry would come into my life, but I was walking and talking, how many revenue streams can I add? What would be so fun for me? What else can I include to my day that would be so fun to wake up to? That's one question I ask a lot. It enthuses me.
Okay, let me just interject here for a second, because I want to describe to people that as Aishakul's talking about these questions, and any question you ask, it's not about coming from a conclusion
Yeah.
or going to the how. Because what I think that question of, like, what other revenue streams can I add to my life, or how many other revenue streams can I add to my life, people get a bit stumped because they're like,
Mhm.
they think they have to work it out, and you don't. I used to ask that question. I'm going to start asking it again. Thank you for that. I love it when you get the tools, back. You're like, yeah, that's a new one. And I used to ask that religiously every single day, about 3 or 4 times a day. How many more revenue streams can show up in my life today? And then I just go about my day. It's like,
Yeah.
not like you have to sit there and go, right, what's this
Yeah.
going to be? I could start doing this, or I could, but you'll get these. I call them like this energetic download. And for me, like most people who know me, it's become this big joke, because I'll be like, I was just in the shower, like, is a sentence that I start a lot of things with, because when I'm in the shower, I tend to get these download of so many different ideas, and I'm like, oh, that, or that, or that.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
everywhere that you've decided that you are limited with revenue streams, and that we don't know you, so we don't know your story, etc. So you can still justify how limited you are. It's like, will you
Mhm.
please destroy and uncreate everything
Yes.
that is times a gazillion, everything you're avoiding with asking for more revenue streams, right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all
Yeah.
nine, shorts, boys, provids, and beyonds. It's like, stop defending your limited reality and stop avoiding the success that you could be choosing. There is so much more that's possible. And
There
for
is.
me, it's that ability and the capacity you have to just choose, like really just choose and keep moving forward. You may stumble, you may fall over, but what are you
Yeah.
going to do? You're going to get up and brush your knees off and go, okay, well, that was an interesting one. Now let's go.
Yeah. That is also where I function from sometimes. If the distractor implant of fear gets in the way or a doubt, I just go to the question, what's the worst that can happen? I lose
Yeah,
it all.
I
Can
love
I
that
start
question.
over? Yes, I
Yeah,
can. I
yeah,
have always done it. We all have started over. No, admit it or not, many of us have started over, over and over again. And can I give a little story of how
sure.
jewelry come into my, just as an maybe an inspiration for others? When you ask that question, how many more revenue streams can I add to my life? I had no idea what it would be like. The
Mm,
question is the chaos that you instill. I can visualize it as like the breath that spreads all around the world and the universe, and with molecules in it. The question has that energy when you
yeah,
ask it from the real curiosity of it, not just, oh, I learned this tool that I should ask this, but you don't have any energy within that question. It's not the same. But with the real curiosity of what else is truly possible here, that is like spreading the possibilities to the universe. And it's everything has consciousness. Everything, the universe is there to support you, have your back. Choices come along and you choose and you create possibilities. The possibilities contribute. I was walking in town and passing by a church thrift store. It's open twice a week, only 2 hours on those 2 days. It keeps pulling me in, but I'm like, I don't like the appearance of it. I don't know. I had all sorts of judgments, and it's a religious store. What can you find there, you know? And the pull one day was so strong. Okay, I will follow the energy. I went into the thrift store. There were two figurines that I really love a lot. They called, and there were three actually. I bought one of them and paid $3 to it. And I went to the car. I heard this figurines energy. It's like, oh, I forgot to ask you. You want to come home with me? It's like, I am not going with you. I want my friend. I'm so glad nobody's hearing inside my head what's going on. Said, if I buy her, will you come with me? I said, yes. I went, bought that figurine too. It was also another $3. And as I was walking with this energy, the antique shop pulled in. I bought a ring for myself, and things started talking to me. This is a
yeah.
job. I went home, looked for the prices of the figurines. One of them was $75 in the market. The other one, this little dude demanded, was $300 in the market. If I want,
Wow.
like, out of $3. Okay, it's not a big
Yeah,
money, but look at this. It's like 100 times more. And
yeah.
things like that, I if you ask me with my logical mind, I had no idea what an antique is. I'm starting to learn, but I can tap into the energy and perceive it. We all have a knowing, but this
Mhm.
reality tells you, if you're not being trained, if you're not being educated, you cannot do a business. What if this is the lie that we have been sold to and
Oh, I love
nurtured?
that. Yeah. So everything that you've been sold and everything you've been told about business that no, let's do it like this. What if every single thing you've ever been told about business you found out today was a lie?
Yeah.
And everything at that is times a godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine, shorts, boys, POVIDs and beyonds. And what revenue streams and how many revenue streams can you ask for from that beautiful chaos of awareness, of question, choice, possibility, and contribution, and everything? It doesn't allow you to perceive that, know, be, and receive it, where you destroy and uncreate it.
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine, shorts, boys, POVIDs and beyonds. And start. So if you're listening to Ashikal going, oh, but that's maybe her talent or whatever. No, no, no. We all have the ability
Mhm.
to know way more than what we think we know. You are literally a billion times more aware than you think you are.
Yes.
And just a little fun story as well. When my niece Ellen, when she was much younger, I think she was like 4 or something like that, 4 or 5, like young. And my brother had brought this new carpet, and they'd got it at a market down the road, and they brought this new carpet, and my mother came over and she said, oh, that's a beautiful carpet. Where is it from? That was her question. Where is it from? Right? And Ellen stood there and looked at the carpet, and looked at it for, I don't know, it felt like forever. It was probably in about 20 seconds. And she looked at my mum and she went, London. And my mother went, oh, don't be ridiculous. Don't be stupid. It's not from London. It's from down the road. You know, your father got it at the markets. And I went, wow. And I said, hey, Ellen. And I said, please just acknowledge what you know, because the possibility of that carpet being from London in Australia is huge. And
It
she
is.
looked at it and she just asked the carpet, where are you from? And she got London, you know? And it's like, so even if you want to practice this, like walk around and take a moment, like, you know, even though Aishkul and I both talked about how much we have on and etc., but that's our choice, right? Take a moment and take a big breath. Even right now, it's like you can put your hands on your body somewhere and be really aware of your body, every molecule in your body. And take a big breath and allow yourself to have the space, and that space of relaxation, and expand out your being, right? Out at least 100,000 kilometers outside of your body, because your body is here, but you as a being are huge. And ask from that. It's like, what revenue streams are available from that beautiful chaos and that infinite space? And everything it doesn't allow you to receive the possibilities by being in question and not conclusion, where you destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine, shorts, boys, perverts, and beyonds. And just notice the difference in the energy of when you allow yourself that relaxation and allow yourself that sense of space. It's like, what are you aware of? What do you hear? You know, what do you smell? It's like, you know, what are you aware of going on in other people's worlds that's not yours? And then what can you choose? Where to from here?
Totally.
Yeah.
And this is the beauty of it. We're connected with everything. We're in communion with everything. The only thing that stops us from perceiving, knowing, being, and receiving that is our mind and decisions. And yeah, the other day I shared with the Joy of Business too, like deciding, decidere, killing of other possibilities was the explanation of the Latin root. And
Yeah.
wherever you are misidentifying and misapplying decision as choice and choice as decision, will you also please destroy and uncreate that all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and poke, all nine shorts, boys, po as and meals, because that is the place that a lot of people think when they're deciding on something, which is
Mm-hmm.
a fixed point of view and a conclusion and an expectation. They think they're choosing. What if way more is possible and you don't even know what that could be?
I love
Would you?
that. They think they're choosing. So it's like everywhere that you think you're choosing, when you're not
Yeah,
actually choosing, well, you're choosing conclusion. And it's like,
yeah,
what if you could choose from true choice? And ask yourself, okay, what is true choice for me today?
yeah, yeah. It
And
could
start to
be.
discover it.
It could be, you have tons of business. Like I had the last weekend, I had to finish so much work, but my body didn't. It was screaming to be by the ocean. I
Mm.
just allowed myself to let everything go and go to the ocean and just soak it in. And what if that contributes to your business and your creations even more than you trying to finish up a task or whatever you have at hand, giving
I've
yourself a break?
Yeah, I've just been in the south of Italy last week, and I really made the effort to say no to lots of people for lots of different things, you know, lives, media, podcasts, you know, anything, meetings. And I kept saying, no, no, no. I did one podcast, and if you haven't listened to it, ladies and gentlemen, it's with Sarah Watt. And I did it from Capri, and I spoke about a whole bunch of things that showed up from choice and being willing to be brave with the choices that you can make. So if you desire, listen to that. But giving myself that space to be like swimming in the sea and just having, yeah, like you said, it's like with your body, it's like having this amazing, joyful time. And then I get so creative. Like I've been at the castle now. I arrived here last night, and today I leave tomorrow for London. But I'm like, I've got stuff everywhere at the moment. I'm unpacking, packing, sending stuff to Australia, and I'm working on all these different things. And it's just, I love my life. It's friggin' amazing. And I'm very, very grateful for all of it and all the choices. So I'm just going to mention two things on which will be in the show notes, guys. So if you want to subscribe and get the show notes, is one, I've got a Business Done Different class coming up on the 23rd of June, and that is live from Marseille, France. You can also jump online if you're interested in that. There's a bunch of languages it's been translated into. We have the JCF training as well, but of course you have to be a certified facilitator for that, starting on the 27th. But there's another thing I'd like to invite you to, and it's called the Business Energy Pools, and I'm doing that in July, and we'll put the dates down there for when it is, and it's a ridiculously good price, and it's 5 days. I think it's 10 days in total, 5 days, 1 day off, and then another 5 days of a business energy pool for your business, because everything that we've been talking about today is so possible and even greater than that. Like what I've discovered, what Aishigel's discovered has been a contribution to each other. Like I'm so inspired by facilitators and everything that they're choosing. And then what else, and then what else? It's like, what if this is just the beginning? So maybe you want to join up for that as well. And I'm going to ask for your details too, Aishigel, and what have you got coming up next? We'll also put your details in the show notes for everyone.
Thank you. Yeah, I have actually, I'm still in creation of a lot of things. For now, I know I have another foundation in Turkey and an introduction to the symphony. I am yet to choose a date for introduction to Business Done Different and the end of June, and in creation. The rest is in creation.
Okay, so this podcast is coming out in about a week. So you have a week, put it up, and then we'll put it down there, okay?
Okay, great.
No pressure.
Awesome.
You're such a beautiful, wonderful invitation for everyone. So I would love it if people wanted to jump on and find your classes as well. So I want to say thank you so much for being on here. Oh, also, guys, don't forget, follow us on Instagram. I'll have Aishigel's Instagram there too, mine, and also the Choice, Change and Action podcast has its own Instagram. So don't forget to go there. And I've got the Choice and Contribution membership, which I keep forgetting to mention on my podcast, and my beautiful, wonderful, amazing team, conglomeration of idiots that I work with, keep asking me to mention it. So here I am mentioning it, Choice and Contribution membership. It's wonderful. So anything else you want to say to the listeners here?
To the listeners, one more tool I can give before we close that I really enjoy using. Sometimes, because of our presumptions, certain things may seem so much bigger for you before you choose, and you can be in not knowing what you want to choose. One tool in Business Done Different, Joy of Business, is indulge in both sides of the choice. I imagine that you have chosen it, you have said yes to it, and spend 3 days or whatever long you may require, and walk and talk as if that is already happening, and see what you will feel like. If it brings joy, if it brings lightness, if it expands your world, this is all also energetical. You will perceive it, you will know it, and indulge in the other side. If you said no to that choice for 3 days, see how it goes on with your body, in your world. Usually one takes shorter than the other. Your answer then. You know what? If either the heavy, that will not work for you. If you said no or yes, whichever is heavy, and indulge in it. There's so many tools. If you don't know where to start from, you can use this tool to just indulge 3 days, having chosen 3 days, having said no. See what goes on in your world, and choose what is light and expensive, and see what happens after, with no expectation, no projection, no judgment, no conclusion, and no computation.
Yeah, allow yourself to have the awareness. I love that tool. It's one of my favorites. Well, they're all my favorite, but I love that one too. Thank you so much for being on here. And I will see you, I'm not sure when, probably in Americas in August. Yeah, June?
Yeah, there. Yeah.
You're coming to Marseille?
No, I'm not coming to Marseille, but I'm coming to Bogota for your Choice for Possibilities class.
Bogota in Colombia. Excellent. Choice for Possibilities. All right. Wonderful. So thank you so much, everybody. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Simone, for having me. Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please make sure to hit the follow or subscribe button on your favorite listening platform to get notified of new episodes. We read all the reviews, so if there's any topic you would like to hear about, let us know. If you'd like to know more about the tools, information, and classes mentioned in the podcast, head on over to SimoneMillises.com and follow me on Instagram at SimoneMillises, or the podcast has its very own link on Instagram at Choice, Change, and Action. Don't forget, you can download the show notes. And lastly, have way too much fun today.